Assalamualaikum and hi to my beloved lecturer and to the people that watching this video. My name is Faranisha Binti Abdul Halid from BA 1145A.
Hi, my name is Nabihah Balqis.
Hi, my name is Nurul Izzah Binti Sabarudin.
My name is Nursyafika Binti Yaacob.
My name is Shazwin Shariena Binti Rafiee.
My name is Syarmimi Binti Hamidon.
Portfolio management. What is portfolio management? Portfolio management is handling a pool of funds for the purpose of investment to get an appropriate percentage of return consistent with the risk associated with the portfolio. And the reason why we choose to have a portfolio is because individual securities might carry some degree of risk. Therefore, choosing a set of securities into a portfolio will help to diversify the risk as well as optimize the return of investments. Portfolio management also involves selecting and managing an investment policy that minimizes risk and maximizes return on investment. Company that my group are going to analyze are Harta Lega Holdings Berhad under the healthcare sector, OpenSys and Berhad under the technology sector, Sintex Berhad Industrial Product and Services sector, Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Berhad Financial Services sector, and the last one is Petronas Gas Berhad under the utility sector.
Hartalega Holdings Berhad is an established investment holding company based in Malaysia, founded by Kwan Kam Hoon and based in Kuala Lumpur. Harta is mainly engaged in the latex and nitrile gloves manufacturing market, with the potential to manufacture 34 billion gloves per year. It has grown to be the world's largest manufacturer of nitrile gloves, with ambitions to eventually extend to 44.7 billion gloves in 2020. As we can see on the table, Hartalega risk analysis average return is 30.9096, while the variance is 2610.4773. The standard deviation is 51.0928. The coefficient of variance is 1.6530, which means it is low risk, high return.
For security analysis, I was directed to analyze OpenSys company. So, OpenSys and Berhad is an investment holding company. The company principal activities are to provide solutions to the financial services industry in the areas of self-service machines and universal delivery systems, and also information technology IT services, such as system integration, project management, software development, support services, and training. Also, all kinds of computers, self-service machines, software application solutions, and also provision of related services. So next, the risk analysis for OpenSys. So the average return is 25.5%. The variance is 1019.007%. For standard deviation is 31.92%, and the last one is coefficient of variation is 1.25%.
I will present about Sintex Berhad. Sintex is one of the top producers of stretch film and a leading player in the flexible plastic packaging industry, as well as a reputable developer of quality affordable homes in Malaysia. The Sintex name has also flourished as a reputable property developer of quality affordable homes in Malaysia, with land bank exceeding 5,700 acres stretching from the south to the north of Peninsular Malaysia. They are proud to have completed more than 21,000 affordable homes to date, providing greater access to home ownership for Malaysians. Sintex aspires toward consistent growth, and they are focused on realizing their visions to grow the Sintex community for a better tomorrow and to double up every 5 years. Next, for the risk analysis, average return 36.1518, variance 206.1567, standard deviation 14.3582, coefficient of variance 0.54900.
Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Berhad. Syarikat Takaful is a Malaysian takaful company, the first of its kind in the country. It was the second largest takaful operator in Malaysia in 2013 for both family and general takaful behind Etika. Takaful Malaysia was converted into a public limited company on 19 October 1995, followed by its listing on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad on 30 July 1996. In addition, for over 30 years, the company has been one of the leading takaful operators in Malaysia and has provided the financial strength and risk management expertise that fulfills the customer's needs. The vision of Takaful Malaysia is we want to be the preferred choice for insurance. Meanwhile, the mission of Takaful Malaysia is we aim to exceed customers' expectation through operational excellence, technology-driven capabilities, product innovation, and performance-oriented culture, whilst delivering superior shareholders' value. Furthermore, the major shareholder is BIMB Holdings Berhad with a 59.19% shareholding in Takaful Malaysia. The average return tells an investor or analyst what the returns for a stock or security have been in the past or what the returns of a portfolio of companies are. As for Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Berhad, the average return is 40.03%. Meanwhile, the variance of Syarikat Takaful is 1579.38. Next, standard deviation is a measure of dispersion around the mean. The higher the standard deviation, the greater the dispersion of returns around the means and the greater the risk. Stock Syarikat Takaful's standard deviation is 39.74%. For coefficient of variation, it indicates risk per unit of return, thus making comparisons easier among investments with large differences in mean return. Coefficient of variation of Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Berhad is 0.9928. Overall, the smaller an investment's standard deviation and coefficient of variation, the less risky it is. The larger the standard deviation and coefficient of variation, the more dispersed those returns are and thus the riskier the investment is.
PGB was formed as a wholly owned subsidiary of Petronas in 1983 and was listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia on 4 September 1995. The company is 60.66% owned by Petronas, while the other shares are held by the other institutional investor and retail shareholders. It is a Malaysian leading group in the areas of gas production, gas transmission, and regasification. The company processes natural gas pipe from offshore fields and transport the processed gas through the Peninsula Gas Utilization (PGU) pipeline network to Petronas consumer in Malaysia and Singapore. In addition, the group supplies steam, power, and industrial gases towards its consumers at the Kerteh Integrated Petrochemical Complex in Terengganu and the Gebang Industrial Area in Pahang. As we can see from the table above, we can see the average return for PETGAS is negative 2.3750, variance 91.8186, standard deviation 9.5822, coefficient of variance is negative 4.0346. This stock has less risk and less return.
The FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI, also known as the FBM KLCI, is a capitalization-weighted stock market index made up of the 30 largest market capitalization companies in Bursa Malaysia that meet the FTSE Bursa Malaysia Index ground rules eligibility criteria. The Kuala Lumpur Composite Index, or KLCI, was enhanced as part of the strategic initiative of Bursa Malaysia to ensure that it remains robust in measuring the national economy with an increasing linkage to the global economy. Together with its index partner, FTSE Bursa Malaysia has integrated the KLCI with the globally agreed methodology for index calculation to provide a more investable, tradable and transparently controlled index. Referring to the average return, the return of KLCI is negative 2.51, and based on the coefficient of variation, the risk for KLCI is negative 2.18. We can conclude that KLCI can be related to low risk and low return.
So for portfolio analysis, we choose bad gas, syntax and takaful stock based on coefficient of variation, which is CV. So coefficient of variation is a measure of risk per unit of return, and an investment with a lower coefficient of variation indicates that it has a lower risk. So the coefficient of variation of bad gas, syntax and takaful are negative 4.0346, 0.5490 and 0.9928. So these two stocks have the lowest coefficient of variation compared to the other stocks, which is Harta Liga with 1.6530 and OpenSys with 1.2514. Next is covariance. Covariance is an absolute measure of the extent to which two assets move together over time. That is how often they move up and down together. So based on the table, the covariance is 1320.71. It is the positive covariance. Positive covariance is when rates of return or expected return of two securities move together in the same direction. So next, to obtain a relative measure of a given relationship, we use the correlation coefficient, which is a measure of the relationship. So formally, correlation is a statistical measure of the relationship, if any, between series of numbers representing data of any kind for returns to test score. It is used to indicate the similarity and dissimilarity in the behavior of two variables or assets. So based on the table, the correlation is 0.2416. It is a weakly positive. So last but not least, the portfolio risk is 17.22% and for portfolio return is 24.57%.
Based on the chart above, it shows that PETGAS stock return have a negative relationship with KLCI market return. Based on the equation, every 1% of independent variable, KLCI market will decrease the dependent variable, PETGAS, by negative 2.2887. To conclude, PETGAS is underperformed with KLCI. As we can see, the covariance between PETGAS and KLCI is negative 9.4184. Using R-square, PETGAS can be explained by 23.47%. This means that 23.47% is affected by the changes in KLCI using monthly measurement of HPR. P-values shows that the model is insignificant because the value is more than 0.1. It strongly accepts null hypothesis and the performance of the stocks is not affected as much by the market. The beta is less than 1, which means it will be less volatile than the market since it has lower systematic risk.
KLCI versus Syntax Berhad. Based on the chart above, it shows that Syntax stock return have a positive relationship with KLCI market returns. Based on equations, every 1% of independent variable, KLCI market return, will increase the dependent variable Syntax return by 0.9319. To conclude, Sintech is overperformed with KLCI. Covariance Sintech and KLCI is 27.7980%. Using R-square, Sintech can be explained by 12.56%. This means that 12.56% is affected by the changes in KLCI using monthly measurements of HPR. For the p-value, show that the model is insignificant because the value is more than 0.1, which is 49.05%. It strongly accepts null hypothesis and the performance of the stock is not affected as much by the market. The beta is more than 1, which means it will be more volatile than the market since it has higher systematic risk.
Using R-square, takaful can be explained by 27.76%. This means that 27.76% is affected by the changes in KLCI using monthly measurement of HPR. P-value shows that the model is insignificant because the value is more than 0.1. It strongly accepts null hypothesis and the performance of the stock is not affected as much by the market. The beta is less than 1, which means it will be less volatile than the market since it has lower systematic risk. Based on the graph, it shows takaful stock return have a negative relationship with KLCI market return. And based on the equation, every 1% of independent variable, KLCI market return, will decrease the dependent variable takaful by negative 3.8338. To conclude, takaful is underperformed with KLCI.
To conclude this portfolio analysis between stock, Petgas, Sintech and takaful, the stock that give the highest return and the lowest risk would be stock Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Berhad. The reason is because the return for stock takaful is 40.03%, meanwhile the risk per unit of return is only 0.9928. In order to conclude and choose the stock, it always depends on the stock that give high return and low risk. In conclusion, Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Berhad is the best stock between Petgas and Sintech as it has highest return and lower risk.
For the recommendation based on the analysis, Sintech, Petgas and takaful have been chosen as portfolio analysis. This is because based on coefficient of variance CV, 3 of this stock have the lowest risk, which is 0.5490 Sintech, 0.9928 takaful and negative 4.0346 Petgas. Petgas has the lowest risk than Sintech and Petgas, which is negative 4.0346. This stock is recommended for investors who tend to go for stock that has less risk. Other than that, the second lowest risk is Sintech, which is 0.5490. This stock also recommended for investors who have less tolerance toward risk. Lastly, takaful have the highest risk than Petgas and Sintech, which is 0.9928. This stock is recommended for investors who are willingly to invest in higher risk. If the investor decided to invest in higher risk, he will also obtain higher return. This is because the return of takaful is 40.03, which is higher than Petgas and Sintech. At the end, takaful has the good balance for the risk and return because it got the highest return and higher risk, and that is the best recommendation for investors to invest in this stock. It is also good to see that Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Keluarga Berhad investors have a large amount of capital invested in the stock. For the recommendation based on the analysis, Sintex, Petgas and Takaful have been chosen as portfolio analysis. This is because based on coefficient of variance CV, three of these stocks have the lowest risk, which is 0.5490 Sintex, 0.9928 Takaful, and negative 4.0346 Petgas. Petgas has the lowest risk than Sintex, and Petgas, which is negative 4.0346. This stock is recommended for investors who tend to go for stock that has less risk. Other than that, the second lowest risk is Sintex, which is 0.5490. This stock also recommended for investors who have less tolerance toward risk. Between 2013 until 2018, Sintex invests approximately Rm 571.2 million ringgit for acquisition of packaging companies, which has boosted the growth in its manufacturing revenue. Lastly, Takaful have the highest risk than Petgas and Sintex, which is 0.9928. This stock is recommended for investors who are willing to invest in higher risk. If the investor decided to invest in higher risk, he will also obtain higher return. This is because the return of Takaful is 40.03, which is higher than Petgas and Sintex. Usually, individuals with larger net worth can afford to put some asset in risky investment. At the end, Takaful has the good balance for the risk and return because it got the highest return and higher risk, and that is the best recommendation for investors to invest in this stock. It is also good to see that Syarikat Takaful Malaysia Keluarga Berhad investors have a large amount of capital invested in the stock.